Hello, in this video we're going to go over the biker jacket project, and we are going to learn how to draw the biker jacket with exposed zip pockets and closure. So you're going to save the Illustrator file as family name jacket, and we're going to create a drawing of an H&M jacket, front only. You don't have to do the colored live painted version, but you can, it's optional. So we're doing the front only. So the progress for this is due at the end of the class today. Make sure that you have already shared your cad302 family name OneDrive folder with me. If you've already shared it, then you just have to upload the file, and you don't have to share the file or the folder again if you already shared the folder with me. So the final copy will be due on the September 24th. So at that time, make sure that you upload the Adobe Illustrator version of the project to your Advanced Technical Projects Assignments tool on the Blackboard. And as usual, please make sure you get your in-class formative feedback before submitting the final technical to your assignments tool. Okay, and here you can see the marking rubric. So you will be getting 5 marks for just making sure that the jacket has correct proportion and detail. And again, make sure that you are working in class so I can give you feedback in person during the class time, either this week or next week. So here is the picture of the jacket we're going to draw. So before we begin, you're also going to need to download Brushes and Symbols Library, which is a zip folder. So I'm going to double click on it, and then the zip folder will expand, and you will see a regular normal folder inside of which you will see Brushes 1 and 2 and also Symbols libraries as well. So these are the libraries you're going to be using. The other thing I have for you as well is the biker jacket JPEG, which is under course documents, and it's showing you here where to find the zipper teeth that you are going to be using, which library. So this is the zipper teeth closed brush. You can find it under CAD brushes library number 1. This is the zip head symbol. You can find it under symbols trims library on your Blackboard. And then this is the zipper teeth open, which can be found under CAD brushes library number 1. This is just another zipper, but I'm not going to use this particular brush. I'm going to use this one and this one as well. And then this handout shows you what is the first part that you have to draw, and then you're going to be reflecting it to be able to get the final drawing, which is going to look like that. The direction of the arrow here indicates how I drew the line using the line segment tool for the zipper teeth. So you have to draw the line in this direction in order to have your zipper teeth on the correct side of the lapel. Okay, so we're going to start from scratch because that'll be a little bit faster than drawing from a block. So I'm going to go to File, New, and just start drawing. So File, New, click on Print. I'm okay with the letter size, so I'll click on the letter size, and then I'm going to click on Create. Next step, I'm going to download the Judy JPEG. So I have the Judy JPEG on my desktop, and so now I can just go to File, Place in Illustrator. So you go to File, Place. In my case, she is on the desktop, so I'm just going to go to the desktop. I will click on the Judy template once, just once, and then I will turn on the template button, and then I will click on Place. So this will place a copy of the template onto my first layer, and it'll automatically lock it right away, and it'll create a new layer on top. So what I normally do is I make the Judy a little bit more transparent so it's easier for me to draw. So I'm going to unlock her, select her with a black arrow, and then in the options bar I will lower the opacity down to 40, 30, whatever you want. Okay, so at this point it's a little bit more transparent, and now I can lock her. Then I will go to layer 1, and then here, to make it easier for myself, I'm just going to paste the JPEG from my Word document here so I can keep looking at it as I draw. So let me just go back to my Word document and then select this picture, copy it, so Command C or Control C. Then I'll go back to my Illustrator file and then I'll just paste it here. So it's okay if it's in this layer. I can keep it there so I can continue looking at it as I draw. So my first step will be to zoom in and then start with the pen tool to draw half of my jacket. So I am drawing the layer 1, and my Judy is locked and she is not selected. So layer 1 is selected and it's unlocked. So then I can start drawing. So to start drawing, I am going to first select black stroke, and I'm going to select no fill. So here I have black stroke, 1 point, and no fill, and that is the setting I always want to use as I draw with my pen tool. So first I will put the point number 1, which is a corner point, at the top of the collar. The second point I'm going to put at the bottom of the collar. The third point I'm going to put at the shoulder, but just a little bit beyond. So all of these are corner points. My next point will be click and drag, so I can achieve a curved point. So you can see the directional handles come up. The armpit point here will be here, and it'll be a corner point. The waist will be a smooth point. So I'm going to click and drag to get a smooth point, and then I'm going to click to create the final point on the side seam. So this is a click and it'll give me a corner point. So to make it stop, I press Command and I click away into an empty part of the artboard. So I think I got the length right, but I can compare to the picture and then make sure that I did it right. So if this is the waist, then I think I got it right because the jacket is a little bit longer up until the hip level. So it looks pretty good. So next I'm going to draw the sleeve in the same layer. So I'm going to click to create a corner point. Then I'm going to click and drag to create a smooth point to just give it a little bit of a bump. And then I will use the middle arm and then click and click and click to create corner points. And then it gives me my sleeve. Review your sleeve, and if it's too bumpy, you can sort of soften this curve, and then you're finished with the sleeve. So don't continue until you're happy with the sleeve length, shape, and the curve that you have. I'm just going to soften my curve a little bit here by using the white arrow to adjust the directional handles. Next, I'm going to create a line segment using the line segment tool to create the seam. So this is a two-piece sleeve. So this line indicates the underarm seam. And now I can continue on to create the collar shape. So I'm going to create this line now, going down and then going down across. So this is not symmetrical. As you can see, the zipper is not at the center front, but it's a little bit offset to the side, so it's a little bit asymmetrical. So I have to achieve that as I draw with my with my pen tool. So I will click here to connect, and then I'm going to go all the way down because this is where the break point is. However, I'm not going to put it in the middle. Instead, I will go a little bit over to the side. So I'm going to put it here. And then again, it's not in the center, but it's a little bit over to the side. And then it goes to the center. So I will click here. And at this point, I can just click and drag to give it a little bit of a curve at the hemline. So the last point was a click and drag. And now I can just sort of have a look and make sure I got that right. So the bottom of the zipper kind of goes through the center front, but the top doesn't. So it's a little bit asymmetrical. So I think I got that right. And the overall shape looks pretty good. So next I'm going to take the pen tool and then draw my collar. So for my collar, I'm going to click to create a corner point, then click to create another corner point, and then another corner point, and then another corner point, and then I'm just moving over to see, and then I can just sort of do the final point at the bottom at the break point, and I can just leave it straight. Okay, in some cases you may want to curve it, but in this case it looks more like I should do it straight. So I'm going to finish the collar just by adding the seam. Before I add the seam, I just want to move this in a little bit, and I think I want to reduce the size of my collar a little bit also. So don't do the top stitching or anything else until you think that your proportion is right. So I think right now my proportion is good, so I can then Control plus to zoom in, and then I can just use the line segment tool to create this seam. Before I continue, I'm going to just lower this collar because I think I had it a little bit too high, and just make sure you got the correct angle there. The other thing I'm going to do is select my line with the white arrow, and then I'm going to click on corner and bevel join. So that'll take off the pointiness of my line. So here it was way too pointy, it looks bad. So I can use the round join or I can use the bevel join. So I'm going to use the bevel join so that my lines don't look pointy. So if you don't see the stroke box, you have to go to Window, Stroke, and then that'll display the stroke box that you can see here. And then we can zoom out and see if we can continue, if the proportion is good. So I think this is okay so far. So the next thing to do, I'm going to use the line segment tool and create the yoke. So the yoke is going to go from here to here. Then I'm going to zoom out and then put a princess seam. So the princess, okay, next we're going to draw the princess seam. So first I'm going to use the pen tool, again no fill black stroke, click to create a corner point. Then I will click and drag to create a smooth point. And then my last point will just be a click, and that'll give me a corner point. So here's my princess seam. You can zoom out, compare it to the actual jacket, make sure it looks okay. And also make sure that you have enough room for the zipper because there's going to be a zipper right there. So after you're done with that, then you can create some top stitching. So to create top stitching, I'm going to use the black arrow, select this line with the black arrow, press Alt or Option key, and then drag it up to duplicate it. So this is 1/4 inch top stitching, so I want to make sure it's not too close to the seam. Then I'm going to select that line with the black arrow and change the line property in a stroke box to be 0.5 dash, and then type in 2 for the dash and 2 for the gap. So I'm going to use that setting for all of the top stitchings I have. Next, I'm going to create a top stitching for this line. So to do that, I'm going to also duplicate it first. So press Alt Option key, and then using the black arrow, you're going to click and drag, and then let go of all of the keys. That duplicates your line. Then you're going to go to 0.5 dash 2 by 2, and then this is your second top stitching. Before I draw my pocket, I will first then add the top stitching to the collar. So here I'm going to draw it by eye because that'll be the fastest way. So I'm going to just put a corner point everywhere. So a corner point here, a corner point here, a corner point here, then I'll do a little step, a corner point here, and then I keep on going, a corner point here, and then this will be easy because it's just straight, and then I can just do a corner point here. So then I need to put top stitching here as well. So I'll click to create a corner point here, and then I will do a corner point here. And then here I will continue my top stitching at the bottom as well, but I'm going to click and drag here to be able to create a curved line for my top stitching. And that'll be the finished top stitching along the edges. If it doesn't come out okay, you can use the white arrow to move the points a little bit and make sure that the top stitching looks the same everywhere. One thing I don't like is my sleeve is too narrow, so I'll just make it a little bit wider. So next we're going to draw the pocket, and then we're going to be able to reflect the drawing to the other side. Before I do that, I just want to copy the top stitching on the armhole. So there is top stitching on the armhole from here to here, so I'm just going to draw it from scratch. So I click for a corner point, I click and drag to get a little bit of a smooth line, and then I click for a corner point, and then I click for a corner point. So now I have to turn this into top stitching. Another way to turn this into a top stitching, which can be even faster, is to select this line with the black arrow, and then you're going to use the eyedropper tool and then click on the dashed line, and that'll automatically apply the dashed properties to the line that I drew on the armhole. So that's another faster way to draw top stitching, or to copy the top stitching properties from another line. Next, we're going to work on a pocket. So for the pocket, I'm going to have to open the brush libraries. So you're going to go to Window, Brushes to display the brush palettes that are available. And then the one you need, you're going to have to upload it from the zip folder I gave you. So you're going to go to Window, Brushes to display them. Then you're going to click on the Library button, then scroll all the way down to where it says Other Library. And then from the desktop, you're going to find the Brushes and Symbols Library folder, and then you're going to click on the CAD Brushes number 1. Click on it once, it'll highlight, and then you're going to click on Open. So here are those brushes that I wanted to use. Okay, so next we're going to draw the zipper. So first you're going to make a straight line using the line segment tool, and I'm going to press Shift to make it completely straight. This should be one point line, solid. Do not draw a dashed line. So a solid line, press Shift, click and drag with the line segment tool, and then here's my pocket. So let me just check the length. Yeah, I think the length is okay. So step number 1, make completely straight line, 1 point. And here we are. Then you're going to click on the zipper teeth closed brush, which is under your CAD brushes number 1. So here is the zipper teeth closed. Okay, so when you put your mouse on top, it'll give you the name. So zipper teeth closed brush is applied, and then I'm going to change it to 0.5, and then it'll look like this. So now I feel like it's maybe a little bit too long, so I will select my point on top with a white arrow, and then using the arrow key on my keyboard, I'm just going to shorten the zipper a little bit. And that's it. So now you just have to draw the seam. So the seam is going to be done using the rectangle tool set to 1 point and then no fill. So you're going to use the rectangle tool, click and drag around it, and then this is the zipper seam. My final step will be to add the edge stitching and the zipper puller. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool. I will preset my line to go to 0.5 dashed 2 by 2. So now when I click and drag with the rectangle tool, it'll give me a dashed line for edge stitching. And before I rotate this, I'm going to bring down the zipper puller. So you have to go to Window, Symbols to display the Symbols palette. And then you're going to have to open the library that I gave you on your blackboard, which is called Brushes and Symbols. So I'm going to click on the Library button under the Symbols palette. Then I will go to the other library, and then I will go to Desktop, brushes and symbols, and then this is the symbols trims library I wish to open. So I click on it once and then I click on open. And here now I can see different symbols that we have. So to add this zipper symbol, all I have to do is click and drag and then it'll drop it off. It's a little too big, so I'm going to press shift and then using the black arrow and my shift press down, I'm going to make it smaller. And then when it's small enough, you just put it on top. So that's it. I can actually now close my symbols. I don't really need them anymore. You can even close, well, you actually have to keep the brushes because we're going to use the half zipper brush next. So before I can rotate this, I have to use the black arrow, click and drag a selection marquee box around everything with the black arrow, and then I can go to object group, I can go to right click group, or I can use Control G to group this. Once you've got it grouped, then you can just rotate it a little bit and refer back to the original drawing to make sure you got it right. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Next, before I continue, I'm going to just click and drag to select everything. And I'm going to edit copy or Control C. Then I'm going to edit paste in front. And then I'm going to click once on the reflect tool. So the reflect tool is the second one under the rotate. So let me just tear off the reflect. So I will click on the reflect once. I will then press and keep my Alt Option key pressed down. I will click at a center line of the Judy. The pop-up menu comes up, and then I'm going to click on copy. And then now you've got the copy on the other side. And now you can just draw the neckline and delete the extra lines that you don't need. And then you're going to add the zipper along the collar and center front. So we're going to do that next. Okay, next we're going to use the line segment tool and preset the line to be 1 point solid, so no dash. So you're going to use the line segment tool, click and drag, press shift, and draw the line on top, and then draw the back neck using the line segment tool again. So click and drag, press shift. Next, we're going to use the white arrow to select the line on top. Then we're going to click on the reshape tool and then click and drag on the line to curve it a little bit. So as you remember from before, that gives you a curved point and curves your line. We'll do the same thing on the bottom. So use the white arrow to select the back neck. Click once on a reshape tool, and then you click and drag, keep your mouse pressed, and drag down in the middle to reshape the line. So this automatically gives you one curved point which curves the line. So the final step will be to delete the extra lines and then draw the zipper, and then you'll be done. So before I can delete the extra lines, I have to then first cut them where necessary. So this line, I'm going to cut it here. This line, I'm going to cut it here. This line, I'm going to cut it here. And then I'll scroll down, and this line, I'm going to cut it here. And this line, I'm going to cut it here just to be able to delete the extra portions. So let me see now with the black arrow. If I click on this, I'll get rid of it. If I click on this, I'll get rid of it because I pre-cut it. And then I can get rid of this too. Here, I still have a little tiny piece to delete. So I'm going to use the white arrow, click on the point with the white arrow, and then hit delete on my keyboard once, and then that'll get rid of that. And so now I need to draw the zipper teeth using the brush that we used before again. So I'm first going to make a solid line using 1 point, actually I'm going to pre-change it to 0.5, it'll be faster. So I'm going to make a line 0.5 using the line segment tool. So I'm going to click and drag, go down, but make sure it's solid, not dashed. So I'm going to turn off the dashed. And so now I have a solid line, 1.5, and then I will click on the zipper teeth, and then I have to change it to 0.5 to make the teeth smaller. So there is my zipper. And then now I need to use the line segment tool set to 1 to draw the zipper seam. So I'm going to make sure I've got a solid line, make sure I've got 1 point, and then using the pen tool, I'm going to click, click, and then click to create the seam. And then the seam continues underneath the collar as well. So I can use the pen tool or line segment tool, just continue that seam up here. And then also I'm going to need to put the 1/4 inch top stitching there as well. So I'm going to use the black arrow, click the line that I just drew, press Alt Option key, click and drag to duplicate this line, and then change it to 0.5 dash 2 by 2. So here's my top stitching. And now finally I have to draw zipper teeth on this side, and I have to draw zipper teeth on this side as well. So I'm going to use the line segment tool, set to 0.5 solid, and then I'm going to draw the zipper from here going up, but I'm going to draw it in this direction going down. So I click and drag going down all the way to here, and then I will turn that into zipper teeth open. And you can see the zipper teeth go towards outside of the collar, which is correct. So that'll only happen if you draw the line going from top to the bottom. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then it might end up on the wrong side of the collar. So I'm going to just change it to 0.5, and now I'm good with that. You may want to just zoom in and make sure that it's really close to the collar, so it looks like it's sewn in the collar. So I might just have to move it in a little bit like that. And then I have to now do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go use the line segment tool, and then click and drag from here to all the way here, or you can use the pen tool if you prefer, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to click on the zipper teeth open, and then go to 0.5, and now I've got the zipper teeth on the other side. And now I still need a tiny little piece of zipper here, so for that I can just use a line segment tool, and then it should go the other way around. So you should start from top to the bottom, line segment tool, and then you're going to put the teeth and change it to 0.5. And so now there's a tiny little portion visible still on top. So to finish this off, I'm going to just bring down the zipper puller. So I go to Window, Symbols, to display the symbols. I go to Library, Other Library, Desktop, Brushes and Symbols, and then I'll click once in the Symbols Trims, and then I'll go to Open. Then I can just click and drag to put the zipper puller here, and it'll go on top. So here's the zipper puller, so I'll just put it on top of everything, and then I will press Shift to reduce the size, and then it'll look like it's on top where the jacket unzips. So now let's have a look at the finished jacket. So you should have the zipper teeth on the correct side. You should have the zipper teeth going all the way up here. Then you will have a closed zipper up until here, and just make sure that you always just zoom in and make sure that there isn't anything that's spilling over the style lines, and then you can just group everything and save it. So I'm going to connect everything and then go to Object Group or Control G, and then I can just save it, and then I'm finished. And that's it for this lesson.